Hello and welcome to the show. We are back on BeamNG Drive with some more of your automation cars, tackling the Italian rally stage. Starting with a Fiat. Built by Floyd 947, this is the Fiat Abarth 131, a pretty damn good replica of the 131, I have to say. Certainly looks the part. Engine-wise, 2-litre i4 is quite powerful at 380 horsepower, and unlike the real car, this one is all-wheel drive, so probably stands a pretty good chance of going quick. I have just noticed we've got push-rod suspension at the back. Pretty sure the real 131 didn't have push-rods at the back. However, yeah, this could well be fast. This could well be very fast down this stage. That is, as long as we have got the grip, and that is a concern, perhaps. Well, it's a concern for most of the automation cars. In general, it is very difficult. Not impossible, but it is difficult to get these to handle as well as you've seen from the Beam car. The Scarab was quick down here. The Scarab was quick, and that very nearly challenged the Sunburst. However, in general, yeah, it's tough. It's tough getting these cars. I don't think they can ever quite have the same corner speed, but they can carry good corner speed and then maybe out-accelerate the Sunburst. So we'll see what this one here can do. It's a little understeery around these sections so far. Try and get it stopped for the hairpin. These hairpins are nasty, nasty corners to get the vehicle. It's difficult getting the brakes right on this. This surface is horrible as well for the cars to be dealing with, trying to get the brakes to getting slowed well enough for the hairpins, but not either brake way too early or way too late. We've seen kind of both sides of that down this course. That's quite wide. Will be a little slow at the, I guess, kind of the mid part of that corner, but you know, we're through at least. Engine-wise, I kind of like this engine. It's a little laggy. It's certainly not the worst. It's a little more forgiving. The power's a little more accessible than a lot of the crazy turbo engines we've had. It's going to be a good first run. It felt like a good first run as well from the Fiat. 17.7. Ooh, very, very much wrecked it after the finish line. But yeah, 17.7 down that course is a good, very good opening time for the 131 replica. Let's have another go. I don't know if I can get... I don't think a 15's quite doable with this. I think I might just struggle a little bit too much with grip in here. We kind of had a little bit of understeer. Actually, have quite a bit of understeer on the way in. While I prefer that to massive, leery oversteer, it does feel in a couple of places like I just can't carry the corner speed. We get it chucked in there okay. This is probably one of the nastiest surfaces to build a car for here. It's not really proper off-roading. It's not kind of dirt or anything like that, but it's just very, very low grip. It's very, very low grip indeed. Oh, you don't want to be sliding around too much, but then you also need to have enough grip to get the front end turning in, and it's just a tough stage, this one. I mean, I appreciate all the work gone into building these cars. This is a horrible, horrible stage to try and get a car working for. That's part of the challenge. There's a reason why I picked this, is that this is one of the toughest, one of the toughest surfaces, I think, to build, and certainly an automation car for, because there's not really an easy way to go about it. Chuck it around the hairpin. It's another good run. I like the engine, and as I said, little laggy. Is doing better than quite a few of the big turbo engines getting out of the hairpins. Oh, we're going to bobble our way across there. The car does feel it's going to be very similar runtime, that one. Oh, that confirms what I was going to say. The car feels very, very stiffly sprung around a lot of there, and we kind of saw that on the landing, the way it kind of just pings back up. There's very little compliance on the car. This is a very flat road on the most part. It's not particularly bumpy. Driving this car, you can see the amount it's shaking around. This car makes this road feel bumpy. This car definitely makes the road feel bumpy. Now, it's probably better that than the alternatives. Oh, screw it. We've pinned that on a tree. Well, that is impaled on a tree at the first corner. I thought I'd got turn one sorted, and no, it was just a few mile an hour, if that, too fast. That is the way that it goes. It had two good runs, and a final one ended up with, well, it's got a tree growing out of where the rear left should be. I think that Fiat shall be forever stuck in the tree. Unfortunately, that is, yeah, that is the way that it goes sometimes. Well, there we go. There we go. Still, very, very fast car down here in the 17s. is a good time indeed. Up next, we have got a kind of supercar, sports car style body built by Cadet. This is the Kathode Rally. It's got the largest engine of the day at a 2.8 litre flat 6 at the, well, at the back in the middle. Not too much power in this one though, 254 horsepower, so not crazy power. It's a little bit of a larger car, a bit heavier than the Fiat. Probably wouldn't, unless it handles amazingly, perhaps wouldn't expect to see this right at the very top, but it has got incredible grip through the corners. It might be able to make the most, and actually aspirated can probably, oh, I think do we have ABS going on through there? Yes, we do have ABS in this. ABS is a choice, certainly. It will, on this surface with automation cars, it will make braking zones longer. Oh, we're quite slidey, very slidey actually, around there. It will make braking zones longer, but it will also make them more predictable and more well controlled. Sometimes that's not a bad thing. Sometimes that's not a bad thing. This is why if a car's built with ABS, we're not stopping there, it's too fast. I can do a panic and handbrake and it's not going to work. This is why if the car's built with ABS, it will be run with it. I'll turn off the ESCs because they often completely break on this surface. Oh, wow, that juddered through the car, something horrible. Amazing, actually got away with that clonk in fairly good condition. But yeah, braking-wise, it is a choice. Car-wise, despite the fact that it actually had a crash, it's still handling pretty well. It's not got the grip that we've seen from some. It's quite oversteering, and I missed that bloody checkpoint. The checkpoints are not as either wide as you think they are. The game does not give you much leeway. The game does not give you much leeway whatsoever. We've learned plenty about the car in all of this. I'm going to have to be wary of the braking. Oh. Well, that's a fitting way to end this first run. Did not quite go according to plan. I do like the car, though. I do like the car. The balance would probably suit most normal people. It doesn't suit me. I can drive it, but I like a more planted car. Just the way I am. Just my driving preferences, if you will. Either way, yeah, it's a fun car to drive is probably a good way to put it. And at least, while yes, it slides around a bit, it's not unpredictable like some we've seen. I was a little worried, again, seeing another, admittedly not crazy ride height on this, but another sports car with the raised suspension going for the more rally suspension that we might have silly issues with the body roll. We've had a couple of cars that the body roll has caused, just a little weight transfer that goes with it almost has made a car very difficult and unpredictable, and this, not in the slightest. This, deals with everything this course has to throw at it with relative ease. It's not bobbling around horribly like the Fiat, but we haven't got the crazy body roll that we've seen from some cars. There we go, that's nicely done. Little worried I'm going to clip a rock in this, not going to lie. It's quite a wide vehicle. The engine, not the most powerful, is plenty noisy and plenty responsive. It's just a fun, again, it's just a good, naturally aspirated flat 6. I don't think we're going to be setting a record time, but I very much like the car. Driving it down there, 20.6 for the vehicle. But it actually deals with those bumps down there. I mean, that's the difference between this and the Fiat. You saw how hard the Fiat hit the floor. And this hit the floor and rode it no problem whatsoever. Two very, very different cars are dealing with this section very differently. Okay, so 120.6, good time. A solid time. Still some 5 seconds off the sunburst and the scarab, but we'll see what we can do on this final run. I do think that was a pretty damn good run for the car. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to get too much more out of it. I'll try. We'll see what we can do. I should probably get away with, and I do. But if I run across some of the ditches on the inside of a couple of these corners, we'll probably be fine in this car. You can't hit the rocks on the inside. It's strong and everything, and seems pretty capable off-road. If it was a bumpier stage, this suspension would deal with it a lot better than quite a few cars that have run down here. As it is, yeah, we don't actually have to really test the cars. We have to test the car's off-road ability. It's a weird, as I said with the Fiat, it's just a weird surface we're driving down on this one. We'll be a little sideways through there, nothing too terrible, up towards the far chicane. I do think my favourite corner on the circuit through there. And then we've got two never-ending corners, one left-hander and one right-hander. This time, less sideways, more composed, although a little skid on the exit. We'll get out the other side nicely, but then immediately on the brakes for the hairpin. Chuck it around there. Don't end up in the ditch on the outside, because that would be silly, and that would ruin any chance we have of going faster on this run. We're going to chuck it through the high speed, left and right, run towards the finish line. Hey, it's a little quicker. Pretty much spot on in terms of times, though, between those two final runs. I very much like it. I very much like it. Lovely car to drive. As I said, it might not be challenging the very fastest vehicles down here with some 5 seconds off, but I do prefer it to drive than a lot of them. Just a well-built, good fun car. Nice responsive engine. You've got to be a little bit careful, yeah, with the ABS on this surface, but it then does also mean I know what it's going to do almost every time in a braking zone. So that does, you know, sometimes help it when you've got a limited running. Well, not a bad time whatsoever. Up next, we have got a vehicle that I am quite expecting to fall over. I'm not going to lie. It's narrow, it's very tall, it has a massive wing at the back. It should be interesting. Built by Yizgadin. This is the Titan RS, the least powerful car of the day at 227 horsepower, but that's still, you know, a half-decent amount of power. Certainly. The engine, a very small flat six, a 1.8 litre flat six on this, all-wheel drive, big tyres, and while it is quite low on power, I say on low power at 227, it is also quite light. I think it's around 700 kilos. So not much in the way of power, not much in the way of weight to have to deal with it. Sequential box by the looks of it as well, so that should be interesting. Christ, it is brutally fast accelerating, this thing. That's the power to weight ratio for you. It dives a lot under braking. That's a little concerning. So we are probably going to have a lot of the body roll going on, and especially, I say body roll. It isn't too heavy, so I guess less weight moving around, but it is quite tall, so a much higher centre of mass. Not ideal. Brakes are very powerful on this. Christ, I know the previous car with its ABS is a little bit different, but this is, even for for everything that's run, this might have some of the most powerful brakes in relation to the vehicle. Christ, it's very quick. It's very scary though to drive. I don't really trust it. Some of the fastest cars we've had through here will probably be cars that I don't fully 100% trust, but still, sketchy and terrifying. Chuck it into the hairpin we go. The short wheelbase will probably help it as well. I have no doubt actually will help it with rallying. It's generally what you want. It is bouncing around a little bit, and this isn't the first car we've seen to have issues. It's the first car I've seen to bounce around horribly. It's a bit of a scruffy opening run. It's a 21.9. I think there is more to come from this. It's trying to extract it without you ending up with mighty winged van visiting all of the scenery. If we can manage to extract some more performance out of it without it ending up, it could very easily visit the scenery constantly. It's one of them sort of a cars, truck, whatever you want to call it. Don't get me wrong, I like the madness of it. But it is not an easy thing around here. Engine, I will say, does a pretty good job. It's the really slowest corners. It might be a little slow picking up kind of real low-end power. First gear, not the best. However, there's only really turn 1, turn 2 area that's going to be a problem. Maybe out of the hairpins, although chances are it's probably sliding and it's going to spin the wheels up anyway through here. Oh, come on, you bugger. Yeah, there, that wasn't a massive fan of. If you get the hairpin wrong, it doesn't really like going out the other side all that much. It's the whole car. We saw the Fiat kind of judder a bit across the bumps from too stiff suspension. I think this is just being a much higher centre of mass. It just looks like the whole thing's shaking a bit as we're going across what are not normally bumps. They're not normally bumps you're worrying about. This might even be quite a little too softly sprung, potentially, around here. Handbrake doesn't really seem to do very much with it, so we might have to not bother. Christ, it does not like dealing with some of these fairly straightforward. I do wonder, maybe, oh, we're going to have a crash on the run to the finish line. It's still a 13 as we crash across the finish line. I wonder if maybe even the front's so low to the ground it's catching. No, it shouldn't be, but I mean, that was it. I mean, it almost felt like broken suspension on the car. It wasn't, I don't think, it's how it's kind of been driving. But yeah, that gets very uncomfortable very quickly across those bumps. That was, again, I don't think we've had anything have issues on the run to the finish line. Quite, it's a 19.3, so it is fast. It is fast, but it doesn't drive all that. This is not consistent. Basically, I'm never really sure what this is doing from one corner to the next, and I'm hoping that it's going to be pointing the right direction when I either get into a corner or come out the other side of it. I'm kind of not quite a passenger, but we are definitely clinging on for dear life a lot of our time around here. I don't really want to get it sliding because I don't trust what it's going to do if I do have it moving about. Now, we've had issues with the hairpins here. Those brakes are phenomenal on this. Handbrake doesn't seem to really do very much trying to get it around there, so we might have to try and take it like a sensible hairpin. No really Larry silliness for the Larry silly looking van. It's not going to be able to handle a course like that. The tree, we had a couple of vehicles now. This perhaps makes a bit more sense than some of them. Yeah, the tree will nudge the van sideways a little bit through there. Not enough to put it off course. Out of the rock face we go. Lovely line on the exit. Try and get it slowed down for the hairpin. A little bit of Scandinavian flick. Oh, yeah, maybe not across there. Oh, I wonder if I am collapsing the rear. I wonder... There was a rear wheel poking through the fender that I don't think it should be. I wonder if perhaps the rear suspension is having issues. I think it's a very similar time again through all of this. And it's fallen over. There we go. That's what we wanted to see. I thought I was going to roll it on that hairpin. Yeah, maybe the rear suspension's bottoming out, actually. If the rear's quite soft and so on, it might be... What has it got in the back? I can't actually see what suspension it's got going on in there. But it's not going to be at a nice point. I just wanted to see, god damn it. Yeah, maybe the suspension's bottoming out. Maybe it's causing it grief. Something. It looks like half, but it looks like it's fallen over. Whatever is there. Oh, it looks very broken. It looks like push rods that's broken. Maybe. I mean, that definitely looks like shock absorbers snapped in half. Suspension did something very funny, and it was not difficult. It was not easy. Sorry, to get down the course. However, with such huge acceleration, phenomenal brakes, but very little weight, still pretty damn fast down here. And the final car to run through the course today, built by Barack Obama, is the KBM Falcon, the most powerful car of the day at 507. That's a lot of horsepower in this all-wheel drive 2-litre turbo i4 up at the front. I mean, overall looks like a fairly sensible build on a kind of sports car. We might see some body roll. Again, it's kind of the similar sort of rally spec suspension going on here. Might be well enough controlled, might not be. My concerns, as they always are with 500 odd horsepower turbo engines, is that while, yes, 500 horsepower out of the 2-litre i4 is very doable, my fears are that it's going to be delivered at one teeny tiny point, and up until that point, we're going to have not much. So we'll wait and see how it goes. This isn't the worst turbo lag, but it is kind of there. It might technically at peak be 500. I'll be willing to bet we're using 300 or less for most of the run, provided the 500 doesn't kick in at a really awkward time, because that's unhelpful. Oh, we're gonna just made the hairpin. We were going right into a left-hander, which is never something you want. I've got a kitten in the background crashing through everything. Eve's got zoomies all of a sudden, and I'm just hoping I don't hear an Eve. No, I didn't want first gear there. That is the problem. We were completely off any sort of power band from in second, but we're going to be buzzing the limiter in first. Nope. That's at a really awkward point in the power band then through there. Very awkward point. Again, nothing. Then we go. Yeah, it's a peaky turbo engine, and that kind of doesn't quite work. I mean, it's still going to be very fast here, and it is going to be a 19.3, so same time as the van set down the call. Very similar time to the van. I can't quite remember the very fine details. It will get going. It will get immense speed on that final run when it can use it, but things like the hairpins. Look how much it dives under braking, Christ. Oh, there, things like the hairpins, for example, you can't get the car going. You can't get the car going. I mean, there have been some very, very quick turbo builds in these sort of series before. Currently, the Scarab was naturally aspirated, I believe, and I think we might see either small turbos or naturally aspirated are potentially the way to go. I'd love to see superchargers as a thing for automation. It's not something you can currently do. I think there might be something that may make its way there at some point, but yeah, it would be interesting to see how they would work. I mean, it's also an element of the conversion into Beam might not help with some of these turbos. I think there's a combination of things. The transition to Beam doesn't always help. Automation does do quite old-style turbo technology. It's always quite laggy turbos no matter what you do. You can do it a little better, but it always tends to get a bit laggy turbos. Oh, we're in that nothing power band, aren't we? We're a 200 horsepower car through there. Handling-wise, as I said, I was a little concerned about the vehicle being a bit wallowy and a bit uncooperative. Actually, not that bad. It is a bit wallowy. There's a little bit more body roll in this than we've seen from some cars, than we saw from the Kathode. But it doesn't make it difficult to drive. It's not throwing the car off course. I mean, it moves around a bit down here, but it's nothing terrible, really. This is going to be a half decent run, an 18.8 for the car. Oh, that's going to be a big crash. Oh, clip the wall. Like, the wall down here is really, really nasty, the cobblestone wall, for just grabbing cars. Like, even if you just sort of scrape along it, you just get a little bit of your nose caught on it, and it tears it all apart. Okay, 18.8 for the Falcon. With one more try. I don't think I've got much more in. I don't think there's much more to come. I don't think I've got much more speed I can extract from it. We'll give it a go. I mean, this is certainly not one that's going to really be able to do... Where it's losing its time, I don't think I can really do much about, if you like. As we leave the first corners, it's fine. But up here, for example, you know, it'll lose a little bit of time through here. I suspect that it's kind of power delivery on the exits. Admittedly, I got into that corner a little wonky. As you know, power delivery around here isn't too bad. I lied. The hairpin, definitely. Hairpin, definitely some of the places we're going to be struggling. Brakes, not too bad. Not as good as the little vans, no, but brakes, not too bad at all there. And that was not a terrible job at getting it through the hairpin. There's still another little bit of shaking from the car as we head up towards the fast... Well, I say fast chicane, fast-ish chicane. Get up the other side without having to wait too long to get the power working. Some shorter gear ratios may have helped this a little bit, just a teeny bit shorter. Oh no! Oh, I was on the limit of grip, and there we go. That's what happens. That rock has claimed many a car, unfortunately. And I thought we were going to drop a wheel off the edge of the curb. Off the edge of the, well, grass, basically, just fall into a ditch. Bugger it. And there we go. That is the end of that. That's the drive shaft poking out the wheel. I mean, I've done that a few times. I'll do it many more at that particular corner, unfortunately. You're trying to go faster and faster, and, well, it's very narrow. You've got a car's width and a little bit more, but not much. You've not got much room for any runnings wide, and once you do, yeah, you clip it and there goes the car. Unfortunately, that is that. A quick vehicle, but difficult to access the power down this course. So, on to our leaderboard, and we have a new third-place vehicle. The Fiat Abarth will take that third spot, displacing the mad, crazy acceleration machine that was the Mini. The Falcon, that'll go into a sixth spot, just losing out on the Motors Baby WRC car. The Titan, the rather interesting van... tool van, again, it's not a mad acceleration thing. That takes a 7th place, and the Kathode Rally will go up into 9th. So plenty of fast vehicles down here, and well, yeah, maybe not challenging quite the Scarab or the Sunburst. As of yet, the Abarth was very, very fast. Through here, the Kathode was an awful lot of fun to drive. The Titan was quite crazy, and the Falcon had a very, very laggy engine. If it worked, it was quick. Just had to fight it a little bit in a couple of places. That, though, is going to be it for this video. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, a goodbye.